And now, here's Dr. Mike.
Hey, friends, thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a show that you will not forget. Bishop Larry Gaiters is with me today. Before we get into that, got something in the mail today I just wanted to share with you. And I thought, well, this fits perfectly into what Bishop Larry is going to be bringing today. And this is not unusual. It just came to my address, my PO box address. But you notice there's no return address. They didn't want me to know who sent it, but I'll just make you famous, whoever it is, because you watch the show or you listen on any of the other platforms that I might be on. And so here's the card. I thought it was fantastic. It was a fantastic teaching point. So folks, I hope that you can read it. The longer we pretend, I'm reading this backwards, so and no, that doesn't mean anything. So don't even go there because it's showing backwards on my screen. The longer we pretend that he isn't mentally ill, the more devastation we're going to experience. Now, folks, I show you this because this is a prime example of the Hegelian dialectic in practice. This is a prime example of Lucifer's stooge, Saul Alinsky, and his rules for radicals. Always accuse your adversary of the very thing that you are doing or what you are. I've said this before. I've heard Bishop Larry say this before. The current manifestation of liberalism, the current Democratic Party, they've now called themselves by various names, progressive, what have you. It is clearly a mental disorder. I cannot say it any plainer than that. Mm-hmm. To advance and support the agenda of the Democratic Party today, you have to be brain dead or some kind of Luciferian zombie to be okay with that. And if you call yourself Christian and support the Democrat Party, you have lost your mind and you are certifiably insane. Now, I know that I touched some nerves on that, Bishop. So we've got Bishop Larry with me today, and this is a fantastic blessing and honor for me to have Bishop Larry. He's the host and moderator of Global Spiritual Revelation Radio and Media Group at Life Radio. He represents the very DNA of conservative thought, folks, and you're going to really be blessed. I encourage you to follow Bishop Larry on Twitter at Bishop L. Gaiters. That's Gaiters at Bishop L. Gaiters. He's also on Facebook. You can follow him there. He's the host again of the nationally syndicated Global Spiritual Revelation Radio and Media Group in New York City. He's on Life Radio Network, 92.9 FM and 1460 AM. And I think that's in New York as well, but Bishop can correct me if I'm wrong there. He's on the iHeartRadio Network, the iHeartMedia Group. He's all over the place. He's on YouTube. You can find him there, Global Spiritual Revolution Radio channel on YouTube. Bishop Larry, man of God, thank you so much for joining me.
Dr. Spalding, it is such a great honor to be with you tonight on your powerful and anointed program. And you are a man's man. You are a true patriot. And my friend, it is such a great honor to be a part of this global international work that God has endowed for you to operate in. Thank you so much, my friend.
You're very, very welcome. And it is an honor again for me to have you join me on the show. So the last time we chatted, we talked about the deep state, exposing the deep state, and that was on your platform. And really, that was a primer for people to understand and connect the dots. We didn't do a real deep dive into it, but we did paint a very broad picture so that people could get in one glance, an understanding. Wow, there really is such a thing as a rabbit hole. This goes farther and deeper than I ever imagined. And Bishop, you and I have talked about this before. One of the things that we are trying to do is we are trying to educate, and by educating, equipping the body
Mm.
of Christ to confront what is happening in broad daylight today. Isn't that what we're trying to do, friend?
And that is the absolute truth, my friend, because I absolutely agree with you 100% that the individual in this country has to be psychotic in order to support the Democratic Party. And I was sharing with your producer, Brother Jared, before we went live, that there is a demonic psyop, especially in Black Americans, not all, but a great percentage, more specifically, the African American pastor. They are so complicit and not just supporting the Democratic Party, but also blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And okay. And so this psyop of Black Americans, especially the African American pastor, especially the older generation, their support for Planned Parenthood, that's psychotic. That is not only a person who is a psychopath, but they are also a sociopath, in which we're going to unpack here today on your powerful show.
Yes, and Bishop Larry, folks, listen. One of the things that you're going to, if you don't know Bishop Larry already, one of the things that you're going to find out today is that he pulls no punches. He is a straight talking man of God. He just tells it like it is. I think that's why we connected so
Yes.
quickly, because he doesn't mince words.
Nope.
Now, he's very eloquent in his presentation, but he will tell you plainly the truth of a matter. And that is something that we need to hear today, especially in the pulpits of America. We need to hear the plain truth of the
Mm.
matter, because Christians they're asking questions. And listen, friends, if pastors are not equipped, if they don't understand the truth of what's really happening in our nation today, they're not equipped to answer these questions. They're going to get their questions answered someplace, and the chances are,
Mm.
brother pastor, the
That's right.
chances are they're going to get their questions answered by a Luciferian stooge, and it'll be nothing but propaganda and lies. Don't you want to equip those that come to you with questions? My goodness.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
I
Oh,
do. And
yes.
Bishop Larry,
Mhm.
I'm going to so let me say this, folks.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to just sit back, because once I get Bishop started, then it's all over. You're going to now let me tell you to do this. Get a pen and a notebook and get ready to start taking some notes, because the information that you're going to get in the remainder of this show is going to blow your mind. And
Mm.
I know Bishop Larry, he thinks the same way I do.
Yes.
You don't have to believe a word I say. Do your own research. And here's
Yes.
why we can issue that challenge with full confidence. We know that if you do your research, you're going to find out that what Bishop says is true. So get your pen and get your notebook. So, Bishop Larry, one of the things that jumped out to me,
Yes.
I've heard you talk about this, and I'll get you started here. There's
Yes.
actually a connection
Yes.
between Kobe Bryant, COVID-19,
Yes.
China Vatican global deal, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Soros Open Borders
Yes, sir.
Society. There is a connection. And might I add this? Most people don't know anything. Well, no, I'll let that statement stand. Most people don't know anything
Yes.
about a secret society
Mm.
called the Boule Society, and its ties to the Luciferian elite, such
Yes.
as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Morgans, on and on and on. Bishop Larry, what
Yes.
in the world is going on today with all of this insanity?
It is, we have to compartmentalize this global conspiracy because that's how Luciferians work, my friend. And the topic that God has conceived and birthed into me that I've been speaking, that I'm going to speak not only on your powerful and anointed show tonight, but I get on the average between 80 to 120 invitations to be on some radio show or podcast all over the world. But the topic that I want to share with your powerful listeners all over the world is the greatest global cover up in human history. Again, the greatest global cover up in human history. Now, as we go back to the Boule Seeker Society, and to your listeners, the Boule Seeker Society is the Black equivalent of the Skulls and Bones from Yale University. So 9 African American men back on the 15th of May in 1904, beginning with Dr. Henry McKee Menton, including 8 other associates, including Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, who is actually perceived as a sellout in Black America because he, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, who is so revered in the annals of education in Black American history, he supported the 1939 Negro Project, which was a manifesto, man of God, of the plan to exterminate Black children that Planned Parenthood, through not only Margaret Sanger, had signed off on, but also the grandmother of Valerie Jarrett, Dorothy Taylor, had also signed off on the 1939 Negro Project, a manifesto of the final solution of Black America to exterminate their own people. So then the Black Boule Seeker Society was created in the hometown of Kobe B. Bryant on May 15th, 1904, with Rockefeller Foundation money. Now, the Boule Seeker Society comes from the Greek Hellenistical term Sigma Pi Phi, which is a Greek word, Dr. Spalding, which means they are the protectors of the system. They don't own the system, but they are the guardians of the system. What system is that? It's not black, white, brown, yellow, or red. That system is a deep state Luciferian cabal, where according to the 1954 book put out, we're talking about going back at least 50 to 55, 60 years, the history of Sigma Pi Phi. Again, my friend, the history of Sigma Pi Phi by Dr. Charles H. Wesley. He said on page 146, my friend, that there are 9 families, and we often talk about the 13 Illuminati families, but out of the 13, there are 9 families who control 99% of the world's wealth. We're talking about the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the Warburgs, the Rockefellers, the John Jacob Astor family, the Bilderbergers, the Habsburgs, the Sassoon family, who have bankrolled the opium drug trade in China, going back from 1839 to 1860. And also the 9th family is the Lee family, capital L-I, out of Hong Kong, who are one of the bankrollers of this global pandemic of COVID-19. So then the history of Sigma Pi Phi, or Boule. So the term Boule represents, not only are they the Black intelligentsia, what I also call the Black bourgeoisie elements of Black America, which John D. Rockefeller had termed the talented 10, which means 1 out of 10 African Americans would be chosen by the global Luciferian elite not to be a blessing or to benefit Black Americans or any other type of American, regardless of race, creed, color, or ethnicity. But the Boule Secret Society, which means that they are not only the protectors of the Round Table, they don't own the Knights of the Round Table that has these 9 families from the Rothschilds to the Lee dynasty. But they, the Boule Secret Society, they are the protectors of the Knights of the Round Table. There is a PSYOP in Black America called the global, we're talking about not just the global Luciferian system that the Boules are in charge, they are assigned to protect, but this system called the global crab barrel system. Now, what is the crab barrel system? The crab barrel system represents the African diaspora, okay? Of all peoples of African-centric origin. Now, as a quick side note, the term Africa is not the name of the original continent, okay? That term Africa came from one of the most powerful Roman families in Roman history, according to the Oxford Dictionary of History, chapter 2, section 3, that there was a general, as a quick side note, by the name of Scipio Africanus, who had defeated Hannibal in Carthage, which is present-day Libya, and changed the name of the continent from the Coptic word Akibulon, which means Eden, to Africanus, which is Africa today. So I constantly tell Black people, stop calling yourself African American, African British, African Canadian, African Caribbean. Every time a person of color calls themselves by that phrase, African, they have taken on the name of the Africanus family, who were practitioners of spirit cooking, child pedophilia, and child sacrifice, going back to the Roman Empire. Now back to the Boules. So the term Boule also represents the lower house of the Greek parliament today. They are in charge of protecting the power at the top. So then the term Boule also represents, as far as a logo or an insignia, it represents a half a man, half a woman, half lion that has its right paw on what we call an urn, Dr. Mike, capital URN, which they keep the ashes of dead people. That is a sign and a symbol. And as we're talking about the symbol or the insignia of the Boule Secret Society, that the Boule powers that be, Barack Hussein Obama, okay, Michael Michelle Obama, and we're talking about Eric Holder, we're talking about Reverend Al Vitamin B Deficient Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Louis Farrakhan. These devils do not love Black America. They don't represent the masses of Black Americans. They are chosen, including Louis Farrakhan, who was inducted, my friend, earlier this year, in 2020, to be a member of Omega Psi Phi, which is one of the 9 Black Greek letter secret societies. So this term, Boule, Sigma Pi Phi, they are the oldest Black Greek letter secret society. And underneath them, there are 9 Black Greek letter fraternities and sororities who are in charge of not protecting their own people or the American people, regardless of race, creed, or color. The 9 Black Greek letter secret societies, okay, they are charged to protect the system of not just the Knights of the Round Table, but they are in charge, Dr. Spalding, of protecting the crab barrel system. Why? Because the masters, the supervisors or the barrel owners are the Rothschilds, right? Oppenheimers, Warburgs, all the way down to the Lee family. So the 9 Black Greek letter seeker societies was created by 9 distinct Black men on May 15th, 1904, in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the hometown of Kobe Bryant. And so these 9 Black Greek letter seeker societies, Alpha Phi Alpha, they protect the Rothschilds. Kappa Alpha Psi, they protect the Oppenheimers. Omega Psi Phi, they protect the Warburgs. Phi Beta Sigma, they protect the Rockefellers. Lambda Phi Theta, they protect the John Jacob Astor family. Alpha Kappa Alpha, they protect the Bilderbergs. Delta Sigma Theta, they protect the Habsburgs. Zeta Phi Beta, they protect the Sassoon family. Now remember the hair care magnate Vidal Sassoon, right? So he comes from that Sassoon bloodline that goes back to the 1600s in India, okay? In the 9th Black Greek letter seeker society, Sigma Gamma Rho, capital RHO, they protect the Lee dynasty. So then, when we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history, we have to begin at this Black Boule secret society. And I am shocked, Dr. Mike, that there is a small percentage of Black people, who only know about the Boulets. 98% of Black America, they never heard of the Boulets. So they are chosen by the elite to protect the elite at all costs. They're not chosen, my friend, to protect you or I. And as a side note, a couple of days ago, I put up a posting on Twitter concerning the attorney Benjamin Crump, who had represented the Trayvon Martin family back in 2012. Well, Benjamin Crump, according to his website, Pastor Mike, the Benjamin Crump Institute, okay, when you go down to the 3rd paragraph about Benjamin Crump, the 3rd paragraph, in the 4th and 5th sentence of that 3rd paragraph, it says that Benjamin Crump is a member of Sigma Pi Phi Boule, and he's also a member of the Michael R. Moore Lodge there in Tallahassee, Florida. Wait a minute. So who's Michael R. Moore? He is a ordained minister, pastor, in the Church of God in Christ. So in other words, these Black Boule Seeker Society members, not only are they Luciferians, my friend, not only are they Black Prince Hall Masons. Now, what is a Black Prince Hall Mason? They represent the Scottish Rite Order concerning Black American secret intelligence. So then when we talk about the Boule Secret Society, they're all 33rd degree Masons, including Oprah Winfrey. She's a witch. Her girlfriend, Gail Stale King, she's a witch. Now, remember, a few months ago, Dr. Mike, as a side note, when Gail King was interviewing one of the friends of the late Kobe Bryant, Lisa Leslie, wonderful sister, right? Instead of protecting the legacy of Kobe Bryant in the character, Gail King was trashing Kobe's character. And we know that Kobe made mistakes, but you have to understand, man of God, that the psyop of the Boule is not to protect their own people. It is to destroy us. Going back to 1939 to the manifesto that we call the Negro Project, that was written by this eugenicist, this devil, Margaret Sanger, including the grandmother of Valerie Jarrett, Dorothy Taylor. She had signed off on the genocide and the extermination of her own people. We're talking about the grandmother of Valerie Jarrett as we are exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, as we juxtapose from 1904 to 2003, so then Kobe Bryant is instructed to go to Eagle, Colorado, and he's instructed by the late Dr. Jerry Buss, the late owner and the CEO of the Board of Governors for the Los Angeles Lakers. So Dr. Buss instructs Kobe to fly to Eagle, Colorado, to get his knees worked on, right? And to see a knee doctor by the name of Dr. Richard Stedman. Now, Dr. Richard Stedman, Dr. Mike, is a member, of one of the most powerful secret societies, and that is Phi Beta Kappa. So Phi Beta Kappa is the educational and legal arm of the deep state, while Kappa Beta Phi is the Wall Street faction of the deep state. I'm going to come to Jeff Steibel, Kobe Bryant's business partner, later on in the program. So then, as we're unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history, so Kobe Bryant is instructed to see this Phi Beta Kappa knee doctor, Dr. Richard Stedman, who doesn't instruct Kobe to stay near a hotel near the doctor's office. He is instructed by Dr. Stedman to go 30 miles away to Edwards, Colorado, to stay in the high-class Cordelia Spa Hotel, where he meets a young woman by the name of Caitlin Faber. Now, the parents of Caitlin Faber are also Phi Beta Kappa, and they know Dr. Richard Stedman. Okay, now I'm not blaming Dr. Stedman or the family of Caitlin Faber for the future death of Kobe Bryant. I'm just connecting these dots as I am slowly unpacking this suitcase of the greatest global cover-up in human history. So he meets this young woman, Caitlin Faber, when he checks into the Cordelia Spa in Edwards, Colorado, 30 miles away from where he was going to originally stay. And then she offers Kobe Bryant a tour of the hotel. That wasn't her responsibility, Dr. Mike. And then Kobe invites her. One thing leads to another, okay? Then instead of Caitlin Faber going home and calling the police or the sheriff, okay? She doesn't go home that night, my friend. She goes to her boyfriend's house, and excuse my words, and has sex with her boyfriend. Then she goes home the next day and cries rape when her parents ask her, where were you all night? And then she tells a lie. She doesn't say to her parents she was at her boyfriend's house. She told her parents, Dr. Mike, that she was raped by Kobe Bryant. Now, as a side note, she might have been raped. Now, if she was raped, okay, Kobe Bryant should have went to prison. I don't have a problem with that. See, the problem I had with Me Too is the weaponization of it. And so that's another topic for another day. So then there is an attorney, and it gets ugly in here now, Dr. Mike. So there's an attorney that is assigned to Kobe by Dr. Richard Stedman, his knee doctor. And this attorney's name is Pamela Mackey. She is also Phi Beta Kappa. Wait a minute now. So Dr. Richard Stedman, Phi Beta Kappa, okay? The family of Caitlin Faber, Phi Beta Kappa, and Pamela Mackey, the attorney that represented Kobe Bryant in 2003 in the rape case, is Phi Beta Kappa, but also Pamela Mackey represents Harvey Weinstein today. And also Pamela Mackey represents the R&B singer R. Kelly. So Kobe Bryant is beginning to be set up in something that is eventually going to take him out many years later, as we're unpacking for your powerful audience the greatest global cover-up in human history. Year later, in 2004, the case is dropped. More than likely, the girl's parents are paid off. Now, the very same powers, Dr. Mike, that got Kobe out of that mess is the same powers that took him out. I'm going to prove it to you. So then, now we juxtapose from 2004, a year after the rape case, to 2006. Now, according to the National Institutes of Health website, capital NIH.gov, there was a pharmaceutical corporation by the name of the Chiron Corporation. Now, NIH.gov, you can go to the upper right-hand corner where it says search and type in Chiron, capital CHIRON. So the Chiron Corporation, and as a quick side note, the term COVID, capital COVID, is a Hasidic Hebrew word. When transliterated to English, is the word in the name Kobe. Nothing is by accident, as we are slowly unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. So on NIH.gov, and when you type in Chiron, then it would take you to the Chiron Corporation out of Emeryville, California, where they applied for the first application number, which would create the first 10 proteins, pathogens, and strands of COVID 1 through 10. This is how sophisticated darkness is. So their first application number, Chiron, was 604-622-18, which represents 10 proteins, 10 pathogens, and 10 strands that the Chiron Corporation applied to the FDA as early as 2003 to create not just one pathogen of COVID-19 within the SARS family, the severe acute respiratory syndrome family, but to create 10 specific pathogens and strains that we would call COVID 1 through 10. So on the National Institutes of Health.gov, NIH.gov, when they type in Chiron, capital CHIRON. Now, as a side note, Dr. Mike, if you know, and you know this, Dr. Mike, but in Greek mythology, the term the man Chiron, capital CHIRON, was a half man, half animal, almost like the boule secret society logo, who has a pedophilia relationship with the child Achilles, who later murders Achilles, the child, and through spirit cooking regurgitates him. That's in Greek mythology. Well, that's the name of the corporation who had created the pathogen of the coronavirus 1 through 10. So then the 2006 application of pathogens 1 through 10, represents the foundation of this conspiracy that goes back to 2006. And it gets more uglier now here, Dr. Mike, as we're unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, later in 2006, the Chiron Corporation is purchased for $5.7 billion by the Novartis AG Group out of Basel, Switzerland. Novartis, capital Novartis. So the Novartis AG Group buys Chiron, including the first 10 pathogens, proteins, and strands of the coronavirus, COVID 1 through 10, for $5.7 billion. And as a side note, the Novartis AG Group owns a 33% stake. There's that number 33 for your Masonic historians, as we're going to expose this global Masonic Scottish Rite Order, 33 degrees within the Masonic Order. And as a side note, no person of color on this planet can ever attain a 33 1/2 degree. The highest that they can go to my people of color is 33 degrees. So that's another topic for another day. So then Novartis purchases, they buy Chiron for $5.7 billion, including the first 10 pathogens, proteins, and strands of what we call COVID 1 through 10. So Novartis owns a 33% stake in another pharmaceutical company by the name of the Hoffman LaRouche Corporation, capital LA space, capital ROCHE. So the Hoffman and LaRouche pharmaceutical industry, located in the very same geographical location where Novartis is located in Basel, Switzerland. Guess what Hoffman specializes in, Dr. Mike? They specialize in the creation of bioweapon technology. They create viruses, but they also create the vaccination to remove the bioweapon. That is demonic, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. So then now in 2006, the Novartis AG Group out of Basel, Switzerland, half of the shares, my friend, according to the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, that two American individuals here in the United States of America, they own half of the shares of the Novartis AG Group out of Basel, Switzerland. Bill Gates, through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and George Soros, a Nazi, who is the chief executive officer of both the Soros Management Fund and the Open Society Foundation. So then both Bill Gates and George Soros, who hate President Trump, they hate the Trump administration, and they hate God, they hate America. These two men, Dr. Mike, they are enemy combatants. They need to be in prison, as we're exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, this Novartis AG Group, man of God, in connection to Kobe Bryant. The Novartis AG Group owns approximately 2,500 pharmaceutical companies on this planet, 3 of which are owned by the Novartis AG Group. 3 of these pharmaceutical corporations out of the 2,500 that are owned by Novartis was being sued by Kobe Bryant in a class action lawsuit against the NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, capital INSYS, that owns the Acorn Incorporation, capital AKORN, which owns High-Tech Pharmaceuticals out of Lacrosse, Georgia. So Kobe Bryant was scheduled to go to the Los Angeles Superior Court in Los Angeles on the 29th of January, the following Wednesday, had he lived. Now, the question is, why would Kobe do this? Not just because that they were using his nickname, the Black Mamba, that it goes much deeper than that, Dr. Mike. Yeah. Kobe Bryant had found out, okay, that both NSAID, Acorn, and High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, under the umbrella of the Novartis AG Group, who bought back in 2006 for $5.7 billion, the Chiron Corporation that created COVID 1 through 10, Kobe found out that Novartis, including NSAID, Acorn, and High-Tech, was lacing the weight loss pills with opioid substances. Okay. Also, Kobe was in the process of suing, including a major pharmaceutical company out of Tel Aviv, Israel. the Teva Pharmaceutical Industries, capital Teva. Well, who runs Teva? It's really Mossad. So as a side note, now, if you remember, there was a couple back on December of 2017, and you probably know the case, man of God. December 2017, Barry and Honey Sherman, Barry Sherman, who had created and had built one of the most powerful pharmaceutical companies, not just in Canada, but throughout North America, the Apotex Corporation, capital Apotex. So the Barry and Honey Sherman had hired a honey trap, a woman from the Apotex Corporation in Toronto, as a honey trap, and sent her, all right, to the Teva US division here in New Jersey to extract information from one of the executives that this woman was dating concerning the patent for the drug Azilect, capital A-Z-I-L-E, capital A-Z-I-E-C-T. Again, Azilect, capital A-Z-I-L-E-C-T. Now, Azilect was a drug that was created not by Apotex, but by the Teva Pharmaceutical Corporation out of Tel Aviv, Israel, who is ran by Israeli Mossad, one of the most ruthless intelligence agencies on this earth. So then the Shermans from Apotex had stolen through copyright infringement the drug Azilect that would treat not just American people, but any individual who was suffering from Parkinson's diseases. So Teva had lost billions of dollars, my friend, because of this honey trap that Barry and Honey Sherman of Apotex had set up with a high-level executive at Teva USA here in New Jersey to steal and to extract the patent right information concerning the drug Azilect. And then the Shermans were found strangled in their home December of 2017. I'm slowly unpacking for your audience the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now back to Novartis here. So Kobe Bryant is going to expose, all right, coming on January the 29th, that Wednesday had he lived, the NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, the Acorn Incorporation, A-K-O-R-N, and High Tech Pharmaceuticals. All three of these companies, NSAID, Acorn, and High Tech, were once owned by a billionaire by the name of John Kapoor, capital K-A-P-O-O-R, who's now serving a 66-month prison sentence for lacing his weight loss pills with opioid substances. So Mr. Kapoor gave three corporations, NSAID, Acorn, and High Tech, to another billionaire by the name of Jared Wheat. Now, Jared Wheat is under indictment from both the FBI and the SEC. Jared Wheat is under indictment by and through the FBI because he's lacing his weight loss pills, just like his boss did, John Kapoor, with opioid substances. But Mr. Wheat is also under indictment from the Security and Exchange Commission. Why? For insider trading. Kobe was messing with some powerful people, as we're unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history, okay? Now, as a side note, during the autopsy of the remains of Kobe Bryant, they found the remnants of a drug, Ritalin, inside of Kobe's body, okay? Now, there's a major scandal rumor that has been conceived in Los Angeles for the past 2 weeks, where Kobe Bryant, and it's not been proven yet, but that Kobe Bryant might have been molesting his daughter. Okay. And so now the FBI is investigating that matter. This is horrific here as we're talking about unpacking the greatest global cover up in human history. So Kobe's name, Kobe, is a transliteration of the Hebrew word COVID, certification of vaccination identification. Now, the CEO, back to Novartis, is a multi-millionaire by the name of Vasant Narasimhan. Now, Vasant Narasimhan, capital V-A-S-A-N-T, and his last name, Narasimhan, capital N-A-R-A-S-I-M-H-A-N. His family, Dr. Mike, has close ties to Indian intelligence. Okay. Again, when we're talking about Vasant Narasimhan, who is the CEO of Novartis, his family has close ties, Dr. Mike, to Indian intelligence, to the research analysis wing, which is the Indian equivalent of the American CIA. Now we go from 2006 to 2013. Kobe Bryant, many years after his 2003 rape case, okay, now we're moving forward from 2003 to 6 to 13. I'm giving your audience a systematic chronological order of the death of Kobe Bryant in connection to Big Pharma, to China, to Vatican, to the coronavirus today. So in 2013, it gets more uglier now here, Dr. Mike. Kobe Bryant is introduced to a young man by the name of Jeffrey Morgan Steibel, capital S-T-I-B-E-L. Now, if you type in the net worth of Jeffrey Morgan Steibel or Jeff Steibel, Dr. Mike, it doesn't come up. Guess whose net worth comes up? It's Kobe Bryant's. Why? Why would, if I'm trying to find the net worth of Jeff Steibel, who looks like Charles Manson, or Jeffrey Morgan Steibel, his net worth doesn't come up because he's connected to U.S. intelligence. So Jeff Steibel, when you type in his net worth, Kobe Bryant's net worth comes up. Now, Jeff Steibel had created a powerful foundation in 2002 called the Brain Gate. Now, the Brain Gate is interconnected to the CIA's Brain Initiative. So the Brain Gate, in connection to the Central Intelligence Agency's Brain Initiative through the National Institutes of Health, where you had Dr. Little Tony Midget Fauci. And mind you, when I say midget, I'm not talking about small people. And like you said at the beginning of the show, I tell it like it is. I'm a straight shooter. When it comes to Tony Little Midget Fauci, he's a part of the deep state. He is a part of this Luciferian cabal that's trying to undermine our great president. So Jeff Steibel creates the Brain Gate in connection to the 2013 Brain Initiative that was blessed and backed through the Barack Obama administration. In 2009, my friend, Jeff Steibel acquired a company by the name of Cyberkinetics, okay? Cyberkinetics. In June of that year, in 2009, he sells Cyberkinetics to a company by the name of the BlackRock Microsystems, LLC. Guess who owns the BlackRock Microsystems, LLC today? One of the most powerful shadow banking funds initiatives on this earth called the BlackRock Fund, where their CEO is a man by the name of Lawrence D. Fink, who is one of the minority owners of the Los Angeles Lakers, the former team of the late Kobe Bryant, including another billionaire by the name of Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong. capital Shiong, out of Los Angeles. And Patrick Soon-Shiong was the mentor of the late Kobe Bryant. But guess what shares that Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong owned? The shares through the Novartis AG Group, the NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, the Acorn Incorporation, and High-Tech Pharmaceuticals. Did Kobe know that? No. Because the very same entities, these corporations, Big Pharma, that Kobe was going to expose, both Jeff Stiebel, his former business partner, okay, who knew Jeffrey Epstein, and also Patrick Soon-Shiong, owns major shares in the Novartis AG Group, in the NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, including Acorn and High-Tech. So Kobe Bryant got himself a part of this demonic vortex of devils that eventually closed his eyes, as we're talking about unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. And quickly, as a side note, this BlackRock Microsystems, which is now owned by the BlackRock Fund. Now, the BlackRock Fund, which is even more scary, man of God, was one of the four companies or corporations, and this gets really deep now. So the BlackRock Fund, who now owns, right, not just Cyberkinetics, that was once owned by Jeff Stiebel, but also BlackRock owns the BlackRock Microsystems LLC. But the BlackRock Fund was one of the former owners, okay, of a powerful corporation out of Austin, Texas, Freescale Semiconductor, where Freescale Semiconductor was partly owned, okay, through the BlackRock Fund. Well, what is Freescale Semiconductors? 21 Chinese nationals, if you remember going back to March 8th, 2014, 21 Chinese nationals who worked for Freescale Semiconductor out of Austin, Texas, okay, they had perished on that Malaysian Flight 370. Why? Because those 21 Chinese nationals, okay, and we don't know if that Malaysian flight was hijacked, but that plane just disappeared. And the question is why? All of this being connected back to Kobe Bryant through Patrick Soon-Shiong, okay, through Lawrence D. Fink, BlackRock Fund, to Jeffrey Morgan Stiebel, to Kobe Bryant. And the question is, what did Kobe know? So this BlackRock Fund is one of the most powerful shadow banking cartels, man of God, on this earth. They control 90% of the teachers' pension fund in the United States, in Canada, and throughout Europe, as we're unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. So BlackRock, who also owns the Blackstone Company, or what we call the Blackstone Group. The BlackRock Company or fund owns the Blackstone Group, and Blackstone Group was one of the four major corporations, Pastor Mike, that was the former owners of Freescale Semiconductor, okay, in which 21 Chinese nationals who were also engineers working for Freescale were also Chinese spies, being agents of the Chinese military industrial complex, or what we call the military of state security, which is the Chinese equivalent of the American CIA. So the Blackstone Group, the Carlyle Group, the Palmyra Funds, and the TPG Capital Group once owned Freescale Semiconductor. Jeff Stiebel owns stock in these four corporations: Blackstone, the Carlyle Group, the Palmyra Funds Group, and TPG Capital. Now, what about the Carlyle Group? The Carlyle Group is still ran by the Bin Laden family. And there's another name that pops up on the grid concerning Kobe Bryant's life, who was also a board member of the Carlyle Group, who partly owned the Freescale Semiconductor Corporation out of Austin, Texas, in which 21 Chinese engineers who worked for Freescale perished back on the 8th of March in 2014. So then the Carlyle Group, one of its major board members is a man by the name of Prince Bandar Sultan. Oh, that's interesting. Capital Sultan. His daughter, Dr. Mike, Princess Rima Sultan, capital Rema. She reached out to Kobe Bryant at the behest of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia back on September 2019 and was going to offer Kobe Bryant a check for $1 billion. Why? To create a new National Basketball Association Pro League in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They didn't reach out, to Adam Silver, the commissioner in the NBA, but they reached out to Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant was told not to do the deal. Kobe Bryant was blackmailing some powerful people, including Adam Silver. Because as a side note, my friend, as we're unpacking slowly for your powerful audience, the greatest global cover-up in human history, out of the major 10 pharmaceutical corporations here in the United States, the Novartis AG Group out of Basel, Switzerland, they do the drug testing for the National Basketball Association players. Kobe was going to blackmail, Adam Silver, that if you don't allow me to do this deal with the Saudis, I'm going to expose you, Adam Silver, and your complicity, you being complicit in the deaths of 80 NBA players for the past 40 years who died under mysterious circumstances of heart attacks, plane crashes, helicopter crashes, suicides. Oh, that's interesting. None of these players who had heart problems, their heart problems didn't show up during their playing career, Dr. Mike, but all of a sudden now they die of heart attacks. Kobe was in way over his head as we're unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. So quickly here, getting back to Jeff Stable, BrainGate, in connection to the BlackRock Fund, and that the BlackRock Fund, one of their subsidiary divisions, the Blackstone Group, the Carlyle Group, the Primera Funds Group, and TPG Capital, once owned Freescale Semiconductors. And why was those 21 Chinese nationals taken out? You see, whether it's the CIA, Israeli Mossad, the Russian FSB intelligence agency, or Pakistani intelligence, if they want one person on the airplane, on a jet that's carrying 200 people, they'll take out the whole plane, as we're unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. But why was that plane, the Malaysia flight M3HM70, taken out? As a side note, those 21 Chinese nationals, Dr. Mike, had developed a special microchip system that had the ability to crash global stock markets, to crash global stock markets, to not only to crash global stock markets, but to control planes, helicopters, Kobe Bryant, cars. Remember the Vault 7 that was exposed by Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. So then the Blackstone Group, the Carlyle Group, the Primera Funds Group, and TPG once owned Freescale Semiconductors. Guess who owns the patent for that special microchip system? A man by the name of Jacob Rothschild. Through the Evelyn Day Rothschild Foundation, they acquired the patent rights through that special microchip that was built, back in Austin, Texas in early 2000. We're talking about going back to 2013. through these 21 Chinese engineers, these nationals who built this special microchip that could control global stock markets. They were on their way to Beijing to give it to President Xi Jinping, but all of a sudden that plane disappeared. So what did Kobe Bryant know? Now, as we move forward, man of God, and almost this is so powerful here today. So then here is a woman here that Kobe Bryant is introduced to. Now, Kobe Bryant, along with this Jeffrey Morgan Stiebel, created the Bryant Stiebel Venture Capital Fund, right, in 2013. 3 years later, August of 2016, through the initial public offering, or IPO, it goes public here in Wall Street at the New York Stock Exchange, where Kobe Bryant is introduced to a Chinese woman by the name of Cindy Wenjuan, capital Wenjuan, me, capital Mi. So her family is closely connected and are members of not just the Chinese Communist Party in Beijing, okay, but her family, the Mi family, okay, are members of a special Masonic lodge called the Zetland Lodge 525 in Hong Kong, China. And no, the Chinese government did not abolish the Masonic order going back to 1949 in China. So guess who else belongs to that same Masonic Zetland Lodge 525? President Xi Jinping, okay, the president of China, in his entire cabinet, knows Cindy Wenjuan, who was introduced to Kobe Bryant on the same day that his company, not Jeff Stiebel's, Jeff Stiebel didn't put up a penny. Kobe Bryant put up $100 million to create this venture capital firm, Bryant Stiebel. So Kobe Bryant cuts a $1 million check for a woman, Cindy Wenjuan, that he's never met before. He doesn't know her. Why would he be giving this woman $1 million check, but he wouldn't give a dime to any kid in South Central? Now, listen, you know me, man. I am a Black conservative. I don't teach victimhood. I'm just slowly unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. Guess who partly owns this online kid initiative that was created by Cindy Wenjuan, and this online Chinese initiative is called VipKid, capital VIPKID. Guess who partly owns VipKid along with Miss Wenjuan? Is a woman by the name of Wendy Murdoch, the ex-third wife of Rupert Murdoch, the creator of News Corp, who owns Fox News, the Wall Street Journal, New York Post, okay, Sky News Corporation out of Europe, UK, and Australia, okay? So Wendy Murdoch, who is very close to Jared Kushner, who is connected to Israeli Mossad. There's nothing wrong with Jared Kushner. I'm just connecting these dots that trace back to not just the COVID-19, but to Kobe Bean Bryant. And so the third ex-wife of Rupert Murdoch, Wendy Murdoch, according to the U.S. intelligence community through the National Office of Intelligence, Wendy Murdoch is an asset of the Military of State Security, which is the Chinese equivalent of the American CIA. So then this is who these people that Kobe Bryant is connected to as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. And 3 more minutes, and I'll just give the floor back over to you, man of God. So again, we talked about Chiron, we talked about Novartis, we talked about the 3 corporations from Big Pharma that Kobe was going to expose. The NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, Acorn with a K, capital AKORN, in high-tech pharmaceuticals, that because they were lacing their weight loss pills with opioid substances. And remember, going back as early as 2016 to 19, there was a major multi-billion-dollar lawsuits against many of these major pharmaceutical corporations. We're talking about Novartis. We're talking about Teva. Okay, we're going to be talking about the Pirbright Institute in the next 2 minutes. all of these corporations were exposed by the American people, including people in Canada and throughout the UK, because they were getting addicted with opioid substances that were inside, laced in the psyop of weight loss pills. This is one of the very entities that Kobe Bryant was going to expose. Now, the question we have to ask ourselves, who owns Freescale Semiconductor today? Out of Austin, Texas, a company by the name of NPX, okay? NP, like in Paul, X, NPX Semiconducting Corporation, or NPX Semiconductors Corporation, out of Eindhoven in the Netherlands. So NPX, okay, in the nation of Eindhoven, Netherlands, in the nation of the Netherlands, guess who owns NPX, which owns Freescale Semiconductor? Jacob Rothschild, through the Evelyn D. Rothschild Foundation out of London, England. And as a side note, remember, Mike, during the 1994 Rwanda massacre, okay? The Jacob Rothschild, including Evelyn D. Rothschild, were funneling millions of dollars to the corrupt Rwandan government in 1994 that were massacring and destroying their own people. And this fund that they were using is called the Acumen Fund, capital ACUMEN, which is connected going back to Evelyn D. Rothschild and Jacob Rothschild through the Acumen Fund. We're connecting dots, going back to Kobe Bryant, COVID-19, now coming up to China in the Vatican, as we're slowly unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. And as I come in, my friend, now from 2013 to 2018, there is one of the most powerful pharmaceutical companies on this earth, the GlaxoSmithKline pharmaceutical company out of the United Kingdom, buys the Novartis AG group for $13 billion. Now, GlaxoSmithKline, as of March 2018, now during that time, they were the owners of the COVID pathogen 1 through 10, COVID 1 through 10. So later on in that year of May 2018, the GlaxoSmithKline also took a controlling interest of the Bryant Institute in London, England, where through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Bryant Institute had created pathogens 11 to 18. Wait a minute now, let's back up here. So the Chiron Corporation, who created pathogens COVID 1 through 10, sold that property in the company to Novartis AG out of Basel, Switzerland in 2006, okay? And then we go juxtaposed from 2006 to 2018, 12 years later, GlaxoSmithKline not only buys and purchases the Novartis AG group for $13 billion, but also the GlaxoSmithKline, which is really ran by British MI6. Most of the scientists that work for GlaxoSmithKline, okay, are scientists who also represent MI6, the British intelligence of the American CIA. They are the British equivalent of the American CIA. Now, Pastor Mike, I'm not castigating MI6 or the military state security in China or any other entity for the death of Kobe Bryant. What I'm doing is connecting dots around the life of Kobe Bryant that contributed to the death of Kobe Bryant. So quickly, in the end here, May of 2018, GlaxoSmithKline, who owns the first 10 pathogens of COVID 1 through 10, now has a controlling interest of the Bryant Institute out of England. Now, as a side note, the Bryant Institute that was created in 1914 before the outbreak of World War I. The Bryant Institute had created these gas and chemical weapons that had destroyed the bodies of many American soldiers, British soldiers, and Russian soldiers during the advent of World War I. They came from the Bryant Institute, as we're unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. So the Bryant Institute represents the national and international creators of level 4 laboratories where they create viruses, diseases, and chemical weapons of mass destruction, what we call pathogens. Part of the Bryant Institute, there is a satellite address at 666 Gaiters Road, capital Gaoxin Road in Wuhan. So if your listeners can type in 666 Gaiters Road, capital Gaoxin, and they will come up with hundreds of not just Chinese biological, chemical, and pharmaceutical companies, but also many American corporations like the Pfizer, corporation, like GlaxoSmithKline, Johnson & Johnson, at 666 Gaiters Road. Bryant also has scientists that work for the Wuhan Institute of Biotechnology, the Wuhan Institute, of Virology, and the WuXi Pharma AppTech, which is three of the most powerful pharmaceutical companies or entities in Indochina today. And guess who owns the controlling interests of those three entities? Bill Gates and George Soros through their foundations. It is not by accident that these devils who had created, and I'm going to get to the 19th pathogen because people may say, now, according to the European Patent Office, the Bryant Institute, and you can also look this up on Google Patents. So the European Patent Office, Dr. Mike, that was created by East German intelligence, the Stasi, back in 1977, predating the fall of the Berlin Wall. The Stasi, which is the former intelligence agency of the former East German government, created the EPO, the European Patent Office, in Munich, Germany in 1977. So then the director of the European Patent Office is a man by the name of Antonio Campinos, capital Campinos, who, before he took the position, Dr. Mike, of director of the European Patent Office, he was involved in Portuguese intelligence. He was a spy for the intelligence of the Portuguese Republic, or the intelligence system of the Portuguese Republic, called SIRP, capital SIRP. Again, I am connecting these dots as we are unpacking for your powerful listeners the greatest global cover-up in human history. And in my conclusion, in August of 2018, through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who had contributed millions of dollars, to the Bryant Institute for the creation of pathogens 11 to 18, or COVID 11 to 18. Now, in that same year, later on in October of 2018, came the creation of COVID-19. That the 19th protein, strand, or pathogen, my friend, that was sold, all 18 pathogens, through Novartis and through Bryant, under the leadership of GlaxoSmithKline, was sold to the Ministry of State Security, in 2018. And then through the Wuhan Institute of Biotechnology, Virology, and the WuXi Pharma AppTech, created through reverse engineering the 19th pathogen and strand that you and I call COVID-19. And this is the conclusion of what we call the greatest global cover-up in human history, from Kobe Bryant, to Jeff Stable, to Jeffrey Epstein, to the Clintons, to the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Global Initiative, to the Aspen Institute, to Big Pharma, okay, to the 2018 China Vatican deal, okay, to the September 23rd to the 25th, 2019 China UK conference on avian diseases. And as a newsflash to your listeners, man of God, patient zero did not come out of those wet markets in Wuhan. Patient zero came from that September 23rd to the 25th, 2019 UK China conference on avian diseases in Beijing, where a 55-year-old scientist from the Hubei province contracted the coronavirus at this conference, who had spread it to his family that ended up at the wet markets in Wuhan. This, my friend, line upon line, precept upon precept, section upon section, division upon division, is the greatest global cover up and scam in human history. Now, in my conclusion, and I do apologize for taking so long. I know you have to go to another show, but in 2014, Tony Little Midget Fauci, through the National Institutes of Health, was approved by the Barack Obama administration back in 2014 to give the Wuhan Institute of Virology a check for $3.7 million. Okay. Pastor Mike, are you still there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So in my conclusion, so Barack Obama had substantiated, had backed on Dr. Tony Fauci through the National Institutes of Health to write the Chinese, more specifically, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, a $3.7 million check. So $3.7 million, okay, out of the balance of the 17 million, another was $20 million was used. $3.7 million of that was used by the Barack Obama administration to subsidize the epicenter of COVID-19, where they took all 18 pathogens in 2018 to create, through a reverse engineering, man of God, the 19th protein, the 19th pathogen in the 19th strand of what we call the coronavirus of COVID-19. That's why Kobe Bryant was taken out, because in 2018, and I'm done, the Nike Corporation sent him back to China, okay, 2 years before his death, to conduct 2 more Nike clinics. He was already retired 2 years going in. So Nike told him to go to, guess where? To the Wuhan district, okay, where the Wuhan district was the epicenter of COVID-19. And also the second Nike clinic would take place in the Guangdong province, which is a 10.5-hour drive from Wuhan to Guangdong. Guangdong is the 2003 epicenter of the SARS virus. What did Kobe know that got him taken out? And that, my friend, is the greatest global cover-up in human history.
Amen, Bishop Larry. Oh my goodness, folks.
I don't play, brother. I'm a contract killer. My job, people say, well, yes. I am a contract assassin. I am a New Testament killer. My job is to decapitate the government of Satan. That's my job. Amen. I don't have a lot of friends, men of God, but I thank you for allowing me to share the greatest global cover-up in human history.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Listen, folks, what we're going to have to do clearly is we're going to have Bishop Larry come back, and we'll just do a Q&A. How would that be? Because this was a lot of it. Bishop, a lot of folks were taking notes. A lot of folks said, man, this is a lot to die. Well, guess what? We are going... Bishop Larry and I are going to figure out a schedule and have him come back.
Yes.
And it'll be Q&A, because I know there are a lot of questions out there. So, Bishop, thank you so very much for giving us your time generously and laying this all out, connecting all these dots. We appreciate it very much.
Well, man of God, thank you so much for your patience. There's a lot to unpack. And this is what we call the compartmentalization of darkness. In order to expose darkness, we have to dissect it one layer, one section at a time concerning the greatest global cover-up in human history. Thank you so much, Dr. Spalding, for allowing me to grace your program, and looking forward to part 2 here, concerning the greatest global cover-up in human history. Thank you so much, my friend.
Amen. God bless you, Bishop Larry. Folks, that's all we have for today. We'll see you next week, same time. God bless you. Thanks for joining us. And remember, renewing our minds is not an option. Love you.